today.
Hi, welcome. We are today in Venice, California. We're in my backyard. And today I want to take us to a slightly different venue. The venue is Long Beach, California. The venue is the Senior Olympics. The venue is cycling. Those of you who know me know that cycling is my passion. And I was very fortunate to compete this last week in the 5K and the 10K time trials for cycling. Now, what does cycling have to do with coaching, which is my profession? What does cycling have to do with the legal community? Well, ostensibly, nothing. But after I competed, I began to think about what I did and the process I went through and what I learned from it and how I made the connections between cycling in the time trials and the practice of law and my own profession of law practice management. I thought perhaps this time I'd share some of that with you. First of all, the Sunday before the Tuesday of the time trial, the first time trial, because there were two, I went down to Long Beach to see the course. I had never been there. And I wanted to make sure that I knew how to get there. I wouldn't get lost the morning of the time trial and get all freaked out and perhaps even come in late. I went there and I actually rode the course. Now, for me, the metaphor in real life was two things. One, when I was a kid and I was going into junior high school and high school, I asked my dad to drive me over to the schools from our home so I could get a sense of what the environment was and become more comfortable with what I was going to go into. I knew I was going to have problems with the kids, that is, acclimating to new people and so forth and getting new courses, new teachers, and the whole bit. And so I wanted to have some familiarity, at least with the environment, the physical environment. And I did that. The next was the day of the event. The day of the event, I got there early. I had to warm up. I wanted to make sure there was no accident on the freeway. I wanted to make sure that I got there and I got there on time. Well, because I got there early, I was able to talk to a few people. One of the people told me something that was very important to me in the race. Ride to your threshold, that is, the maximum level that you normally ride in terms of output or watts per hour. Now that took me a little while to think about and to understand, but before the race it finally registered on me what he was talking about. This gave me a benchmark that I was able to focus on as I was riding. And because of that, I did the best time for a 5K event that I had ever done before in my life. Now, what's the metaphor in real life? On the day of the event, I was able to get there early, get this advice, set myself up, and also make sure that I rode the course one more time to determine whether there were any obstacles or impediments that I hadn't seen before or that arose from the time between Sunday and Tuesday that I hadn't been there. It's kind of like going into the courtroom before the trial to make sure that you're in the right place. You know it's the judge, you know the clerk, and everybody else that's involved. It's also sort of like a client of mine who had never been involved in the legal system and the judicial system said to me, "Ed, tell me in advance what's going to happen. What should I expect in the deposition, in the trial, and so forth?" That's important. It's always important to us to reduce or, if possible, eliminate surprises. That's what this was all about. I competed. I did as well as I could. I did better than I'd ever done before. And yes, while I may not have been number one, in fact, I may not even have gotten onto the podium. However, I was not last, And I was ahead of the thousands of other cyclists who didn't even show up. Now that was for the 5K. I came home after the event. I left right away. Why? Because I wanted to recuperate. I needed to get ready for Wednesday. Wednesday was going to be the 10K. The metaphor in real life here for me is when you succeed, when you do the best you can do, reward yourself. It's important to take care of yourself. It's important to appreciate the effort you put in and the successes that you have achieved. On the following day, Wednesday, I went there again early, but not as early as I had gotten there the first day. I think I got a little cocky. You know, I was already feeling comfortable. I knew how to get there. I knew where to go. I knew that I'd had more time than before. However, I was still early. And as a result of that, I was able to talk to another coach. This other coach said, do twice what you did the day before. You should do better times 2 than you did before. Now I'm thinking, that's not possible. When I did the 5K, I gave my entire effort. I was wiped out at the end. I could hardly breathe. How can I do that for twice as much and come in at lower than twice the effort? And his response was, well, you're not standing still when you're starting the second part of the 10K. You're already moving. The first 5K, you're starting from a dead standstill. Yeah, that's true, but I'm also at the end of my physical stamina. Nevertheless, I heard him and I did what I could, and that result was I was 6 seconds faster on the 10K times 2 of the 5K, meaning I did what he asked me to do. I was faster on the 10K than I was on the 5K. And if you looked at only the 5K of the 10K event, that first half of it, I was faster than the day before. Now, I can't tell you the physiology of it. I can tell you only that's what happened. And it happened because I had a coach tell me what to do, and like a good client, I listened and followed. Now, one of the things that in terms of the metaphor for me was that you get to where you want to be early, not on time and not certainly after the appointed hour. Why? Because now you can network with people. You can network with them one-on-one without a crowd being there. You can learn, as I did, from talking with people. And that learning will help you grow even more. So at the end of the 10K, I was further ahead and faster than I would have expected to be, or I had any right in my own mind to expect. Now, what are some of the other metaphors here? Well, for me, it's the fact that coaching is an important element of life. And life is a holistic life. It's not segregated into sports, into work, into personal, and other things. To me, it's all part of the same life, one life. Thus, having taken off a Tuesday and a Wednesday to compete in the Senior Olympics was not unusual for me, because I may be working Saturday and Sunday, because that's what I love to do. I love my work. I enjoy helping other lawyers improve their situations, improve their profitability, and reduce their stress. We have one life to lead. Lead it well. Get some coaching. At least that's my own bias. It's my own bias because that's my profession, but it's also what I do for myself. I have my own coach, and he has made a dramatic difference in my business and my personal life. So my wish for you on the conclusion of my Senior Olympics for this year is have a good life. Enjoy your life. There is plenty of opportunity even in our environment today. Thanks for joining us.